Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we got another mold for you. This is going to be the Angling AI 6-inch botworm. This mold has 8 cavities in there, as you can see. A nice even finish, very clean, always a great job done by Angling AI, of course. And so for today's color as well, we're going to be doing a single color, and then from a single color we'll be doing a laminate color. Today we're going to be using the Dead On Plastix swim bait jerkbait blend. I still like to use, even on worms, the jerkbait swim bait blend. I find that the worm blend maybe is a little bit too soft for my liking. And with the swim bait jerkbait blend, I feel like the worms last longer. I can get a couple more bites out of them before they get torn up, or even, trying to switch them out. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour 1 cup, and then after the cup is poured, we will throw it in the microwave, and then from there we will put it in the air chamber to get the bubbles out. Today's color is going to be with the Dead On Plastix green pumpkin, and with the green pumpkin we're going to be adding some black flake from LureWorks, and we're going to be adding the red flake. So a simple green pumpkin with red and black flake, and then after this we'll do a laminate color. I'm going to add about 40 drops to this cup of plastic. I like to see if I can get this to be not so transparent, and if you're never too sure about the color of how much to put in, Dead On Plastix has a really cool chart on their website that you can kind of reference. It's really cool. We're going to give this a quick stir, see and check our colors correct of what we're looking for, and then after that we're going to add in our red and black flake, and that is definitely the color I'm looking for. Still gives you a little bit of transparency that will help the flakes show through a little bit better. So since we're making a simple color, I like to go with the 1/4 teaspoon of red, and then I'll also follow that up with a 1/4 teaspoon of black. I've had this bot worm mold for a while now. I've made tons of lures on them and caught tons of fish on them, using it at large lakes to small ponds. It's been a great worm to use, from drop shots to wacky rig, Texas rig, etc. Really has been really fun and really easy to shoot. So when you want some nice simple worms, this is definitely one to use and one to pick up for sure. After stirring everything up, I felt like I needed to add just a little bit more brown to this. So what I did is I used the Dead On Plastix cocoa brown, added about 10 drops or so, just to give it a little bit more of a green pumpkin brownish tint to it, where it wasn't so green. And the color I thought came out really nice. Alright, let's go ahead and do our first injection on this and see how it turns out. One big difference on this mold that you can see is that you have to inject it from the side and not from the top like most of the molds from Angling AI. So this was something very different. Another watch out is this mold will drink a lot of plastic even when you're done holding your pressure. So you might have to top it off just a little bit more once you remove it. As you can see, I top off a little bit more, and then I'll go ahead and take my cup and pour in a little bit more. As you see, it'll start soaking up some more plastic. So just be wary of that one for sure. Alright, so now for the big reveal. Let's open this up and check out how the worms turned out. Opens up pretty easy. Everything stayed in pretty nicely. Very clean. Smooth. No flashing. That's one good thing about this mold for sure, is you will never get flashing on this mold. It's very difficult. If you do that, I'd be amazed. So let's take these off and get a better look at them. Color looks fantastic. Really happy how these turned out. Simple, but always effective on this color. I think that adding that brown helped a lot too, to make it not so green. Still has a little bit of transparency in it, but that helps the flakes pop through. So really happy on how these turned out. Very clean. So a couple weeks ago my brother was over and he wanted to make some lures for a tournament that he had coming up. We used some green chartreuse. So because of some leftover stuff, I had an idea. Let's do that green pumpkin with the red and black flake and add it to the chartreuse. So we'll do a laminate color and we'll test and see how it's done. And one thing I had to get used to when doing the laminate is how you place your blending block, because depending on which way you face it is how the laminate of the worm will show up. This would probably be the wrong way to do it. This is more of the way that you should do it when you blend. On the left side would be your top, and then on the right side would be the bottom. So we'll give it a test try and see how it turns out. It's very confusing how it works, but pretty sure that's how to get the right colors on the right side. So if you are curious on how I made the chartreuse, I used the On Plastix neon chartreuse and green neon. Let's go ahead and inject these. The temperature I usually shoot around is about 320 to about 330. Sometimes I'll go lower to 315. You can even go lower than that, but it does make it more difficult to compress or press down on your injectors. So you want to be wary if you are going to try to shoot cold, or if you're shooting in cold temperature as well. Again, this thing drinks up plastic, so I do top it off. Keep that in mind. I did not warm up these molds either, so I usually just shoot them cold. I mean, it is summer, it's like 100 degrees here, so it's pretty warm anyway, so shouldn't have to. As the mold cools off, I always like to clean up and check my blending block. So this is always a satisfying thing. Kind of give me an idea of what the color is going to look like together, which should be pretty cool. Future video, maybe I'll try to do a triple injection on this as well, see how that turns out. Alright, so as you can see here, even when I poured extra, it did soak up a lot of plastic. So again, be cautious. Make sure you top it off, you check on it, add some more, just to avoid any bubbles. I've never personally had any issues with it, but it's always to be on the safe side. So let's open this up and see what we have. I think we're going to have something pretty cool here. There's that bright chartreuse color for the bottom of the worm. And then for the green pumpkin that we did with the red and black flake, that will be on the top. Let's see how neutral these look. Again, there's the green pumpkin, red and black flake. But the laminate turned out really cool. Super clean. Very sharp lines. Let me see if I can focus in here real quick for you. There we go. There's the top. There's your line from both sides. Super clean. Really happy on how these turned out. Focus in again here for you. Really cool color. Awesome mold. Again, super fun to shoot. Another clean line right there. That looks really good. So the colder you shoot, the finer those lines you get. If you do warm it up a little bit hotter, there's a chance where the colors could bleed over and mesh a little bit more, which is fine if that's what you're going for. Sometimes people like to have the fine lines. Some people like to make sure they mesh together. But overall, everything looks pretty good. So before we take another last look, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's reached out, likes the videos, asked questions. I really appreciate it. Anytime. I love the feedback and the help and support, so thank you all, and I'll see you again soon.